Hey you! In today's video I am giving you some satisfying before and afters in what feels like the ultimate final boss level of cleaning in a heat wave. I'm cleaning some things that I've definitely put off for way too long, such as the washing machine and my Hoover, and it was about time I tackled them in this monthly reset. I am not going to be spending long at all in the bedroom today. I'm literally going to dust the walls down, make the bed, do a little bit of hoovering, and then we're done, so I can really start to tackle some of the other jobs. I have to do most of these things while the girls are asleep, so time is of the essence. So one reason I started making these videos in the first place is because I really like watching them from other people as well. I think my obsession with watching other people cleaning started with obsessive compulsive cleaners, and they've still got them all on YouTube, and I think you can watch them on More 4 as well on catch up. And I just binge watch them occasionally if I'm feeling really demotivated. But it's really got me thinking since I've been starting doing these videos, like, what is it about them that really motivates me to clean? And what is it that really motivates you to clean? Like, what is it when you watch people doing clean with me videos? What specifically is it that really does motivate you? Is it just the actual transformations that you see people do? Or is it just the act of watching somebody cleaning that makes you feel motivated? I try and think about what my favourite part about obsessive compulsive cleaners is, and I think it's like I really like seeing the OCD people's homes and their routines, because they are quite out of the ordinary everyday routines that you see, and most people won't ever follow them, obviously. But I think for me it's seeing the pristine homes and just knowing how much hard work has gone into making those homes look like that. And obviously I like seeing the transformations at the end when they've gone into the other person's house to clean. So if you love that show as well, let me know what part of it you like the most. Is it just the cleaners part of it? Or is it the transformations that you really love when they're really starting from a very different place from where their homes are? And I know there are many reasons why people are highly motivated to clean, or even not, on the opposite side of the spectrum. Is for me, I do love having a really clean and tidy house. It really does make me feel so much better about my surroundings when they look and feel a lot better. And I've got a newly 3-year-old and twin baby girls, which makes cleaning and tidying a lot more difficult. So if I don't have much time to clean, I just try and do what I kind of call the bare minimum. I try and get any little thing done I think is going to help me later or will make it look a little bit better, even if it's just loading the dishwasher or clearing one side off, emptying the bin, those sorts of things. Okay, at first this felt like a really cutesy job. I'm going to clean out my drinks fridge, or my wine fridge, which very rarely has wine in it. And I thought, brilliant, I'll just pull the thing out, excellent. But first off, as you can see, the dust here is the worst dust I think I've ever had in my whole entire house, ever. But when you see what was behind it, it's this. I don't even know what all of this is. I assume we've had some sort of leak down there, some sort of spillage, liquids. I really don't know, but it was way worse than I was expecting, and this turned out to be a much bigger job than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to start by just clearing out some random bits of cardboard that ended up down there somehow. And I started using a dry microfiber cloth because I thought this might just come straight up, which I was very, very wrong. It didn't budge it at all. So I ended up just getting the kind of dusty bits down and then spraying it with a little bit of spray. And I thought, this is definitely a job for my new scrubber. Yes, it's going to love doing this job. And as you can see, it actually got these bits off really, really easily. I just had deja vu then watching this back, which obviously I've done this in real life and now I'm doing a voiceover, but I just thought I've seen this video before. Anyway, as you can see, it's done a really great job of removing all of those. There's a couple of stubborn bits at the top which I spray again and just go back over with this, and it does actually manage to get rid of it the second time around. But if you are smarter than me and you can see something that is very, very wrong that I am doing here, I make a massive faux pas here because I've never cleaned behind here before, so I had no idea what it even looked like, let alone how I was going to clean it or anything like that. So keep watching to see exactly where this goes completely pear-shaped. And I filmed this lovely after shot. Doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? And now I'm going to try and put the fridge back, which I struggled to do. It was much harder than it was to take it out. So I kind of pull the fridge back out again and have a look, and then realise this. These are not attached to the floor like I thought they were. So I now have to scrub the whole area all over again. I have no idea why I thought they were attached to the floor. There's no good reason why they would be, but here we are. My scrubber loved it though, look at it. It's really making light work of that. So thankfully I didn't have to spend too much longer down here than I thought I was already finished with this job. I live for these before and after shots on other people's videos, so I hope you find them a bit satisfying. I'm just going in now with some vinegar and water spray in both equal amounts, and just going to spray the front of the fridge with it and inside as well. I know lots of people aren't that massive a fan of the smell of vinegar, but it doesn't really bother me. I don't find that the smell lingers very long anyway, and I do love chips and I do love vinegar on them, so maybe that's why. It makes me think of chips perhaps. So this is the inside of the fridge, and considering it hasn't been cleaned for 4 years, I'm pretty sure we have not cleaned it since we moved in. I didn't actually think it was too bad. We only keep liquids in there with the lids on mostly, so I'm not really sure what most of those crumbs are down there. Maybe it's congealed milk or something equally as delicious as that. Here you are, is another satisfying before and after shot. I know this might sound mad, but I didn't even know that this part of the fridge existed. I can honestly say I've never put my head that far down to the floor underneath to have a look. And it was absolutely covered in cobwebs and dust. I hope to not have to clean it again very soon because I really didn't enjoy that job one bit. So now I'm going to hit you with some real reality. Yes, I don't think I've ever shown this side of my kitchen before because there's nothing much to it really. It's just a sofa there. But I've got a lot of washing. We're having a table delivered on Thursday, and we put these bits on the floor, this tape down, so that we could see how far it was going to come out and what that was going to look like with the islands there as well. So that my Labrador loves sitting on this sofa, and I'm really going to miss this sofa. It came from my old house before we moved in together, and it's definitely worse for wear. I think it's probably 10 years old at this point, and Macy's going to be so sad that she's going to lose her little snooze sofa out in the kitchen, but it had to be done. We had to get rid of it. We really need a dining table because there's 5 of us now, so we need something that we can sit up to properly. The island only has seats for 3 people, so that is just not going to work long term. We also put panelling up here, I want to say 8 months ago, and we've never got around to finishing it. We've even got a paint test on the wall, so we know which colour we're going to paint it, but it's just getting around to doing all those jobs. When you've got so many children, toddler and under, it's just not that easy to find time to do these things, because we need to use the saw to cut parts of the paneling down, because we bought it as a kit from B&Q, I think, but I felt like it came up really tall on the wall, and I thought that's just not going to look right. It's going to cut the wall off really oddly, so we decided we were going to cut each of the panels down, so it's not as easy as just buying the pack, sticking it on the wall. We have to actually cut each one down to size as well. So if you're in the UK, how have you been finding this heat wave, this heat? Honestly, I will be so glad when it's gone. Either that, or we need to kit out our entire house with air conditioning, because I think I said in one of my other videos, I just can't stand it. I went to the dentist this week, and let me tell you, it was so satisfying sitting in the dentist chair because they had aircon literally blasting right on me, and I thought, this is the life. This is what I need. But also, I feel like I'm literally never happy. I swear that summer used to be my favourite time of the year when I was younger, but now I just can't cope with the heat. But I'm looking forward to autumn, and I've got some pumpkins up, and I'm saying yay pumpkin spice, even though I don't like pumpkin spice. But I'm actually, the reality of it is dawning on me. I also hate having to put the central heating on and being cold. I hate layering up in jumpers. I hate not being able to leave the house without 4 layers and gloves and a hat and scarves and boots and all the rest of it. But I do really like Halloween, which I think is why October is one of my favourite months. I like horror films. I love binge watching a bunch of them. My opinion is that there is no such thing as a bad horror film. Even if they're really awful, like it's kind of good, like good awful. Is that a thing? But I will watch any horror film whatsoever. My favourite ones are the ones where they're trying to be serious, but it ends up being hilarious. Does anybody get that? Or is this just a me thing? Okay, this sink, another one of those awful jobs that I'm going to have to start doing more regularly, probably. One of the reasons I don't take this off very often is because we have had quite a bad leak under the sink every now and then, so I just avoid touching the plug as much as I can really, but I can't avoid it anymore. I needed to take this off and give it a really good scrub. I went in with my, I always want to say electric toothbrush. It's obviously not my electric toothbrush, or at least not the one I use for brushing my teeth. That definitely wasn't why I was in the dentist this week. And I do really like this to scrub things that are harder to reach, but I don't feel like it really scrubs things properly. Anyway, I make a massive faux pas again here, just cleaning the sink, would you believe? So I've taken this off, given it a really good scrub. I kind of abandoned the scrubber eventually, and I go to my Scrub Daddy instead, which got all of this off way easier. I should have just used it in the first place, instead of trying to be fancy with my fancy scrubber. Okay, so this is disgusting, and I don't know how long it's been like this because I can't see down the plug hole. To me, it never smelled very bad, so I don't think it's been like it very long, but I can't remember the last time I cleaned it, so maybe a while. Anyways, best not to think about it, quite probably. Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed that I've been doing something really wrong. Well, it's really wrong for my sink anyway. So I'm putting some bicarb and some vinegar down here, and I've ended up with a huge amount of water pouring down the pipes because it's not attached to the sink at all. And I've been running the water and pouring stuff down it without a care in the world. I also decided to get a new Scrub Daddy out, and I decided to put them next to each other, and I cannot believe the difference in the new one and the old one. The one on the left I only use for really kind of dirty, hard to clean areas like the oven if it gets really dirty, or some oven trays and things like that. So one job I perpetually have on my to-do list is cleaning my laminate floor. I'm very paranoid that this laminate floor is really hard to get clean. It seems like every time I use any sort of mop or anything to clean it, it just comes up absolutely filthy. And as you'll know, if you've got laminate floor, any sort of water or moisture is bad and it can lift the laminate away. And I've been doing quite a lot of research on how to actually deep clean a laminate floor, and I'm none the wiser really. So I'm trying something that I've never done before, which you'll see in a minute. And if you've got a laminate floor, please, please, please tell me, how do you clean it properly? As in really deep clean it, so that if I run a mop over it, it's not going to come up black and brown and dirty every single time I do it. So my first job was hoovering to get all of the dirt, all of the dust, any kind of crumbs that might be laying around, get all of those up first, and then to try and start with some actual cleaning. So I'm trying to put my flash mop into this new pad here, as you can see. However, I should take the old one off first before trying to do that. Anyway, I use these on the floor, but I use them really sparingly because they are really, really wet, and I do not want to get the floor too wet. So I'll either go and run it over the bathroom tiles upstairs just to try and get rid of it a bit, and then try and use it downstairs. But look how dirty that is from just a couple of swipes down here, although this is the island where we have a lot of our meals, so I guess that it's going to be more dirty than some other areas of the kitchen. But we also predominantly use our back door to enter into the house rather than the front door, although no shoes are allowed in here except for my indoor shoes. So the kitchen does tend to get a bit dirtier for that reason, because people are coming in with their shoes in the back door. So now I'm using this laminate floor spray, which it's just as wet as other sprays, to be honest. So you still have to use it sparingly. You can't just go around drenching your floors with it. So I'm just using it here to try and get some of bits around the floors and bits where the island are touching that are hard to get up with a vacuum. So now for my experimental stage in my laminate floor cleaning. So I used my laminate floor spray and I'm cleaning the floor here, and then I thought I'm going to use my fancy scrubber and see if I can scrub some of the dirt off of the floor this way. And so I gave it a really good go. but as if you can't tell, I wasn't all that impressed with any dirt that came up. In all honesty, I could have probably just used my microfiber cloth here instead of using the scrubber, but I felt like it was kind of getting into the grooves of the floor a bit better, but whether it was or not, I don't actually know, and this took me so long, I couldn't do this for the entire floor even if I wanted to, at least not on the same day. So because this is where we eat most of our meals here, I thought I'd give it another try here, just under the island bit, to see if I could get up any dirt. As I said, it wasn't noticeable the amount of dirt that came up, but it made me feel like I was giving it a good scrub anyway, so that's the main thing, right? Next, I'm moving on to the island chairs, which are an absolute magnet for dust and dirt and pet hair and any other undesirable things you can think of. I'm just going in with a microfiber cloth and a bit of spray just to try and loosen some of that dirt up, and most of it came off easily anyway. If I absolutely had to choose, I would say that doing any sort of washing, actually putting it in the machine, taking washing down, putting washing away, just trying to dry it in general, is probably one of the worst jobs for me around the house. I just don't enjoy it. There's nothing I enjoy about doing laundry, and we're doing laundry for 5 people as well, so it's not like I can just do a wash once or twice a week. I sometimes have to do 5 loads at once depending on how much we've got. And we also don't have a very good place to dry our washing, so it mostly just hangs out here in the kitchen for a while. As I mentioned earlier, this is the side of the kitchen that I never really show. So as you can see, we've started with the panelling on the back wall, and as you can see, there's a paint test in the bottom left-hand corner there. So we've only got this far before we had to abandon it. I think the girls had just got too much at this point and we weren't able to spend much time at all. When they go down to 2 naps, you really do lose quite a big chunk of your day to get stuff done. But I really want to get it done now. We're getting the table as well this week. It makes me really want to finish this area and make it a really nice place of the house. Okay, I'm tackling a very put off job here. I know I should do it more often, but again, it's one of those things we're constantly washing, so trying to find time to clean the washing machine is few and far between. There is quite a lot of mould in the sealant of the washing machine, which was there when I acquired this machine, so it's nothing to do with me. I'm going in with this antibacterial machine cleaner. I've had it in my cupboard for probably 8 months, I reckon, but I thought now is the time to use it. It's going to take about an hour to run, so I thought to myself, why not do another job while I'm waiting? And that happened to be cleaning the Hoover. Yay! And this is definitely one of those jobs where you know you have to do it, but the longer you put it off, the worse you know it's going to be. And it's just an endless cycle of, oh, I can't do that, or it's going to take too long. But I just couldn't put it off anymore. Now, these filters well, you'll see in a bit, they're not actually this colour, not even close. Using an old paintbrush would have been my preference here, but I am going in with the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collaboration and this amazing blending brush, because I could not find our paintbrush anywhere. So here we go. It probably took me twice as long to do this, but it definitely didn't look like this at the start, so that is a win. I am a fan of the Sharp products in general, especially this Hoover. I think it's a really great Hoover, but why do they not make it easier to clean? I actually thought I could take that bottom bit off of the base, and if you actually can, please tell me, because I watched a bunch of videos and it didn't seem to suggest that you could, but trying to get any sort of brush down in there was terrible. So I ended up using all sorts of things. This damp microfiber cloth, was really useful, but I don't have super skinny fingers to fit them down there, so I had to grab a knife. I originally used a really sharp knife, which I don't know why I thought that was probably the best idea, and then I went back in again with a much more blunt knife and managed to get a lot more of the dirt out, but this didn't feel like it was the best way to clean it, to be honest, but it looks great at the end. So, and now onto these filters, and you won't believe what colour they're supposed to be. This task is definitely going on my list of regular monthly cleaning jobs, I think, because I couldn't believe the colour of this water and I couldn't believe the colour of these actual sponges. I assume they used to resemble white, but this is clean enough. In an ideal world, I'd just be able to take all of these pieces off of here, throw them into the dishwasher and be done with it, but it's quite fiddly to clean. You push this part to the side, which releases this roller brush part, and trying to get all of this part clean here is quite fiddly. A lot of people complain about this Hoover that it's supposed to be anti-hair wrap, and they say that lots of hair gets trapped around it, but I didn't find much hair trapped around this one at all. And after I had my girls, I lost a lot of hair postpartum, so I'm surprised that this isn't completely covered in hair, although the roller part did have some quite annoying hairs wrapped around each end, so I just spent a little bit of time trying to get all of that off. When I started washing this, it occurred to me that this is actually supposed to be black stripes with bright orange, which I think I do manage to restore it just a little bit, but it's still quite dirty in all honesty. I just want to get a scrubbing brush to it. Can I not throw this in the dishwasher? Please, someone please tell me that I can do that. And then I had the same realisation with this bottom part here. This is actually supposed to be bright orange, but it was nearly black when I started scrubbing it. And this probably did take me about an hour to do, probably longer actually. I think the washing machine had finished before I had a chance to actually finish this. But it was one of those jobs that it was definitely worth it. When I used it the next day, which by the way, I didn't want to and was very upset when I ended up with more dust in the machine, it felt really nice to use, almost like it was new. It kind of glided over the carpet, that it didn't feel like that before, I'm pretty sure. So I think this good clean really did help out the Hoover. I went back in again with the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe blending brush, as you can see, just trying to get some of that dust on there. I didn't actually realise that there was a filter there, and that was just a complete waste of time. Now, I'm pretty sure you have to replace the filter, right? That's a thing. However, I didn't have another one, so I decided I was just going to rinse it under the tap instead and try and give it a little bit of a clean. That's a thing, right? People do that. I should really probably look this up a bit more. But I tried my best to get this as clean as I could. I also go in with my electric scrubbing brush as well, just to try and get some dirt out. It was actually running quite dirty. You can't see it on the film, but there was quite a lot of dirt coming out of here. So at least I felt like I was doing something at least. And then I left all the parts outside because it's a scorching hot day to dry. And I've only shown me doing this once, but I actually cleaned this twice because I thought it was so disgusting and so dirty afterwards. Just one clean didn't feel enough. So I went back over after I cleaned it the first time and cleaned it all over again. Okay, so this is a job I don't think I've ever done before, and I can see why I've been putting it off. It looks like the actual inside of some sort of horror film in there. And I don't even know why I'm bothering at this point, but I went in with my electric scrubbing brush and then abandoned it and decided to use just a regular sponge instead. I think one of the worst parts about cleaning inside of here is that it's so difficult to reach. I am quite a short person, and therefore in my mind I have quite small hands, and it was really difficult for me to fit my hand into this drawer to try and clean it. And I'll give it credit where credit's due. The scrubbing brush actually did a brilliant job in there. I realised I've lingered on this shot a bit longer than I normally would, but I want everybody to just appreciate and love seeing the nice clean inside of my washing machine. I have to tell you, I don't know how long it took me to actually clean this washing machine and drawer, but I can tell you it was exactly long enough for me to know I never want to have to clean it from this state ever again. So I think I mentioned before, I've got quite a lot of mould around the seal here. I go back in with this brush again. Why am I doing this? Sprayed it with a little bit of spray to try and get rid of any dirt. It did lift some dirt up, as you can see. It's quite a disgusting colour on there actually. But I mostly ended up having to use a microfiber cloth, pulling the rubber out a little bit. Oh, what even was that? Stickers. I think most of the stuff down there is stickers, thanks to my toddler. Really disgusting down there, so I gave it a really good scrub. Tried to clean around the outside as well. I do have an anti-mold spray cleaner. I think it's a Dettol one, but it says on there that you can't use it on rubber. So I also was highly advised by the internet to use a bit of bleach just on the sealant there. This felt wrong. I don't know whether you're supposed to do this. It did help get rid of some of the mold, so that's a win, but I think I may have accidentally bleached one of my towels when I put the next wash in after this. So I am assuming you should put another wash on with nothing in it. I have absolutely no idea why, but I thought this was going to be one of the easiest parts of the washing machine. It turned out to be one of the worst parts. So I took the stopper out here to let the water out, but hardly any water came out. And no amount of towels on hand could have prepared me for the absolute oasis of water that was going to come out of here. I don't know if you can tell from my hands, but I was in absolute panic mode here because, as I mentioned earlier, I've got laminate floor. Any sort of wet on there is just an absolute disaster. But it's okay, everybody, because this electric scrubbing brush is coming to save the day. Let's just pop that back in there and pretend that my floor isn't absolutely soaking underneath. So I left the bleach for a while on the rubber sealant. I'm just going in here with a microfiber cloth to try and get rid of some of it and trying to get some of the mould up. Nothing really came off when I wiped it here, but you'll see in a moment it did actually make a bit of a difference to the rubber sealant, although I should have filmed a before picture, which would have been really helpful. Now I know it still looks terrible, but actually it's way better than it was when I started, so that is all I can ask for. So I'm just going to close the door and pretend that that isn't a job I'm going to have to do again and again and again. Now, I thought I was done with my cleaning for the day, but I happened to walk past the oven and I thought I'm going to give that a quick spritz of vinegar. But I had a very shocked Pikachu face when I gave this a little clean, and the cloth came up nearly brown. But I'm sure I cleaned this the other day and it's now dirty again. Let's just close that and not use it for another month. Also, I'm using my neat vinegar spray here, which I 0 out of 10 recommend if you have any sort of cut on your hand. I was browsing Instagram the other day and I saw somebody had put a bow on their oven door. So I thought, yes, I'm going to do that. So if you're at all interested in how to do that, I am going to show you. You need 2 towels. I'm folding this one into the middle and then bringing the other one over as well. And this is going to be the bow part. And then I fold each side into the middle. Most of the people I've seen have done this have used the same sorts of towels, so that will probably make it look a lot better, but I wanted to try it. So now I'm going to use the next one. I'm going to fold this one into a lot skinnier now, into the middle and then over twice again. I should have probably also chosen much cleaner tea towels, but here we go. Now we bring back the bow part that you just folded, and we're just going to cinch the middle of it here to make it look a bit more bow-like. Then you're just going to grab your other one, pop the bow in the middle there so it's equal on both lengths, fold it over, and here you have your fancy bow. I'm very looking forward to doing this with some Christmas towels, and I've seen people put them on their drawer handles as well, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. And then we're just going to pop it over the handle of the oven like this, and I just zhuzh it up a bit to make it look better. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.